Hey everybody, welcome back to Why Not RV. I'm Chris, and on this week's episode, I want to talk to you about 5 things to look for when you're buying a used RV. I'm just going to jump straight into this. Number 1, delamination and soft spots. The number one thing, in my opinion, that you should be looking for when you're buying a used RV is delamination and soft spots. I'm going to show you guys a few pictures here while I'm talking about this of what delamination looks like and soft spots. Soft spots in the floor means that somewhere that floor is most likely rotted, the wood is bad, it's extremely old, it's soft, right? So when you're walking around, feel just by pressure for any soft spots that might give a little bit of a dip. You really shouldn't be having that if there's no problem with the wood. If you're having those soft spots and you're finding those things around the RV, that's the first big flag. Delamination is another exact same thing, only it's up against the side walls, right? So on the walls, you're having soft spots and you're gonna get delamination because the siding is going to come off that wood, and you're going to see like what looks like a bubble or something like that kind of in the siding. And again, I'll show you some pictures of what that all looks like, but that's the same exact thing, is that wood is rotting underneath of that. And what that leads me to is your seals. Okay, the real reason that you have soft spots and delamination and that sort of thing is from poor seals. So you know, if you're starting to notice that you have some delamination and soft spots in this RV you're looking at, go look at the seals. Get up on the roof, look at the seals, see if there's cracks, see if there's holes, see if there's anything along anywhere where that die core is laid out. And again, I'll show you some pictures of what all that stuff looks like. For example, on a seal, you should have nice clean caulking and filled all the way through, no cracks. If you get down to a section that has some cracking and gaps in it, like you see right in here, that means that water can get in there and cause the wood to rot if there's wood. Now, fortunately, this is just a trim piece, so this is just metal down here, so it actually isn't affecting anything. But I do need to put a new bead down this line and get this resealed. Up on the roof, you know, I recently ran some new die core along there because they were showing some cracks. If you come up here and you get to, you know, an RV that's just real old and dark and it has little holes in it and little cracks, like there's a little bit of a crack right there, I mean, that technically water can get in there and find its way down that wall and cause some major issues. The second thing you're going to want to start checking for is all the major appliances, right? Your fridge, the water heater, your air conditioners, the furnace, if you know you're using the furnace a lot. Be making sure that all of those systems are functioning properly. Cycle them on and off. Make sure they're turning on and turning off properly, because if not, you could have a major repair bill on your way for one of those appliances. If you're not comfortable saying, okay, this doesn't, you know, it's turning on, it's cooling, you know, the air conditioner's cooling, but maybe it's just not working out how I think it should work out, hire a professional, hire an inspector to come out and check out that RV and check out those appliances for you, because you do not want to have one of your first repair bills on your new RV, or new used RV, I should say, to be a major appliance, right? You want something small and minor that's like, oh, okay, no big deal, you know, this little thing broke, I can fix it. But a major appliance like an air conditioner, or God forbid your fridge, those are big items that will cost a lot of money to repair. So make sure you get those checked out immediately. Continuing to talk about major appliances, another big thing you got to be looking out for with that, in regards to that, is the propane system, right? Make sure that where the propane goes to, the propane is not only there, but it's working, right? So check out the oven, check out the stovetop, make sure the water heater comes on gas, turn on the furnace, and make sure all those things actually do truly light up, burn fuel, and they have propane going to them properly. Number 3, tires, suspension, and framing. Mainly the tires, right? All the time, trailer tires have bad blowouts. So if you're buying a used RV, you want to make sure that those tires are, number 1, at least good enough for you to be able to get them home. And number 2, do you want to put new tires on a used RV? Sometimes, you know, if the tires are older, you can use that as a bargaining chip. And as long as they're good enough to get you home, then you just get it home, get yourself some new tires. But you know, these tires are fresh. These are only a year old. I got about 12,000 miles on them. So these are in great shape. But you know, you want to be looking out for dry rot. You want to look for low tread. You look at the age of the tire, right? You can find the age of the tire on the on the numbers here. And find out how old it is, because usually tires, they just start to deteriorate. That rubber deteriorates after 4 or 5 years, even if they've just been sitting there, never driven, never, the tread is brand new, awesome. But if that rubber is so deteriorated that you're not gonna be able to get it home, big problems. So check your tires. You also want to check the suspension components, right? All these components down in here are major problem. If you don't know some basic mechanics and can't fix it yourself, you're going to pay someone a lot of money to do so. I had these shackles right here. These are brand new because I had them break on me on this last trip. You want to get down there and check those components. Make sure that everything down there is not rusted out to crap. There's going to be rust on pretty much everything with an RV. You can see rust on my RV. That's okay. It's going to happen. You just want to make sure that the majority of the rust is just surface. It's not actually deteriorating anything. Like a lot of this up here, it's just on the surface. I could easily just sand it, grind it, and repaint it, and it's perfectly fine. But if there's rust that's actually deteriorating away at any components, such as these shackles or your leaf springs, and there's actual deterioration from the rust in there, run away. Just run away, unless you want to pay for a new suspension. And again, you can use that as a bargaining chip to get lower prices. Show the people that you're buying it from, hey, have you seen what the bottom of this thing looks like? And speaking of that, the frame. Just underneath the RV, look at the RV framing and make sure that all the framing is the same thing, not rusted out and deteriorating. It's okay if it has some surface rust. That's not really going to do anything, but just make sure it's not actually deteriorating away at anything. Number 4, and again, this is just my list, but number 4 for me is your slides. Make sure that the slides are operating properly, whether they're hydraulic, electric on a Schwintek system, or some other type of electric system, or if they're the cable driven, whatever it is, make sure that the slides are operating properly. Run them out, run them back in. Run them out, run them back in. Make sure that as they're going in and out, they're not making some crazy noise. Now, slides do make noise when they go out. That's part of it. If it's a hydraulic system, the pump is running, you can kind of hear it eeking and creaking as it goes out. That's not that big of a deal. Just make sure that there's no like crazy grinding noises, obviously. The motors aren't struggling to just really push it out, because if that's happening, you're probably gonna have to replace a motor. And again, you can use all these things as like bargaining chips. If there are problems, they're all fixable. You can fix anything on an RV. It's just a matter of how much money you want to pay to fix it or do it yourself. So use those as bargaining chips, but check out your slides, run them out, run them in, run them out, run them in 2 or 3 times at least. Just make sure that everything is going the right way. Number 5, and my probably most important thing when you're looking at used RVs, is buying from an honest seller. If you're buying from someone and you've been talking to them and you're just not getting a real good vibe from them, trust your gut, trust your instinct, okay? It's totally up to you who you buy from, but having an honest seller who's just, has a nice RV, they've taken good care of it, and they're just not using it anymore. The kids grew up and they're not camping anymore. Whatever the case is, make sure you're buying from an honest individual, because if not, they're going to try and hide and lie about every little thing that's on the RV. So just make sure that who you're buying from is honest, and you get a good feeling from them, because if you don't, you're going to have some major problems down the road, I promise. There is tons of other stuff that's super important to look for when you're buying a used RV. This is just my top 5 things that I feel are most important and to look out for. Now, let's hear from you. Drop down below some of your most important things. I know there's other people who are going to say, well, the first thing you should be looking at is the electrical system or the batteries or something else. Drop that below. Let's hear what else you have to say. This is just my list. These are my 5 things. You can have your own 5 things. And if you're here to learn and you're looking to buy a used RV, look through the comments below. See what other people are saying, because all this stuff is important. You really want to be checking out a whole lot of stuff with the system, with the RV. There's so many different systems in here, electrical, water, plumbing. You want to make sure that they're all working properly. So if you aren't comfortable, you're looking at an RV and you just don't know, you're just not getting a real positive vibe from it, just walk away. Or if you feel pretty good about it, you really want to make that next step, but you're just not technically smart enough to know all the different mechanical systems and the AC, and you're like, I just want to make sure all these work out, hire an RV inspector. They are extremely cheap in comparison to the repair bills you're going to have down the road. It might cost you anywhere from $300 to $900 depending on the RV or coach, but it is pennies on the dollar in comparison to buying a new RV and instantly having $1,000, $2,000 repair bill, and 3 months later having another $1,000 to $2,000 repair bill. So hire an inspector. It's pretty simple. So that's it for this week's episode. I appreciate you guys watching, and those who stuck through to the end, make sure to drop a like below, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching Why Not RV. Bye. If you want to learn more and make less mistakes while RVing, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Check us out online at whynotrvusa.com. We also have a great Facebook group that's growing pretty quickly. Just type in Why Not RV under Facebook groups, or you can click the link in the description below. We're also now on Patreon at patreon.com/whynotrv.